Alright, so I've been seeing all over the internet and generally, like, just, yeah, everywhere, the new Afghanistan built Mata 9 made by Intop, and it's kind of like this new supercar. And for me, I don't really get surprised by, what would I call it, prototype cars, because that's really what this is. I mean, it sounds like it's got a motor. I've watched a handful of videos here, and I'm sure I'll get copyright struck down for viewing some of these, but where is it? There was a video of them actually starting it. Wow, that's actually not bad. You know, mad respect to these guys. They're basically just working with what the average, turning like lemons to lemonade and shit. But the main reason this interested me is because not only is it just like a, you know, crazy supercar, often doesn't interest me. I don't really give a shit, and nor did I when it got released, but I over time heard that it had a Toyota Corolla engine, and all of the smooth brains on fucking Twitter and everything are all like, well, it's slow and it's just a looker. But let's not forget that, you know what other car had a Toyota Corolla motor? That's right, the Lotus Elise, a prestigious British sport coupe, and it revved to 9,000 RPMs. Not to mention Toyota has just chucked their fucking any part in anything. For example, the A340E, which was in fucking every car ever made. Like, here, let's just go to their wiki for this. Oh, that's fucking, here we go, Toyota A transmission. A340E. Here we go. Cressida, Supra. These are for each different market. The Mark IV Supra, they put it in the Chaser with the 1J. They put it in the Tacoma. They put it in the T100, which would have been like, I believe, the 3rd gen pickup. They put it in the Previa, the Aristo, which is basically just a Lexus GS. Yeah, okay. I thought it was IS, and then the SC cars. They also put it in some non-Toyota examples here, like the Volvo 900 series and the D-Max, which I believe is just a Chevy. Yeah, it's a Chevy Colorado, just, you know, rebadged. And we had the Isuzu Pup, which was a Chevy S10. The Rodeo had it, and I actually owned a Rodeo for a while. I had a Honda Passport, which is just a rebadged Isuzu Rodeo, and it ran fine, you know. Granted, ours had a 60,000 mile rebuild. It is what it is. A340E is... There are a couple different versions, but, like, my point stands as Toyota will literally source their car motors out to fucking anything, and it works. So, let's hop back to the topic on hand here. The Mata 9, that's what they call it, and I thought it was a Mazda fucking prototype again, and I was like, man, great, another Furai. But let's watch the Don't Panic video and see what this is. Fuck me. Alright, I don't really give that much of a shit about the fucking car. I just want to see more about the Mata 9 engine, because they say it's a Corolla motor. Alright, but where's the engine shot in all of this? See, this is why I'm kind of skeptical of the whole thing. Ah, yep, that looks like a 1ZZ from like a Toyota Camry. Like, I think it's a See, honestly, I don't know how readily available they would be in, say, I'm trying to think here, in like Afghanistan, but if I had to say, if we were using like a 4-cylinder power plant, that's an economy motor at the end of the day, because I do understand, like, you have to build your car to the spec that the country would find usable. You can have a fucking Bugatti Chiron, but, like, it's not useful if you live in fucking the Bronx where, like, the streets are all potholes. So I understand their use for, like, having a fuel-efficient motor, but what I don't understand is why they would go with the 1.8 and not just throw in the bigger 2.4. But I think it's probably because they didn't develop that as much over there. What a lot of people forget is that the Toyota Corolla in, like, Afghanistan, and I know especially India, is like the Fox Body Mustang, their car community sort of thing. Like, food for thought, I guess. There's not a lot of information out there. I'm just trying to know what the fuck the power plant is. Because I'm pretty sure it's probably just going to talk about how they were a war-torn country that built. Good move on them, by the way, for choosing this whole idea of, like, them being war-torn and then unveiling this badass car. It really punches up to the people it needs to, like the fuckers at Fox News and their tinfoil hats who think every country that's not America or, like, fucking, I don't know, Canada, it was just war-torn. It's a third world country. Oh, wow, okay, they've actually got some fucking kick-ass equipment to work with. I mean, this is especially impressive for a team of 30 people, by the way. I've got a team of, like, 5 dudes, and we're trying to make a fucking Corolla motor come back to life. I mean, so this is especially impressive. Especially considering, I don't know the full story, but I would like to assume they didn't just pull, like, they didn't just take an angle grinder to a Corolla and just yank what was left of it off. Because that was, when I heard Toyota Corolla motor, I instantly just assumed, okay, so this is a Corolla bottom end, and we just threw a body over the top of it, which is like, I was like, guys, that's not a supercar. You know, I do kind of wonder how it's going to keep cool, especially with the economy onesie head, as it produces a fuck ton of heat. Like, also, your supercar won't rev past, like, 6,000 RPMs, which is fine for an economy car, but, like, I can't imagine that, you know, the Taliban doesn't have a little extra spending cash to give these guys a 2ZZ top end to build onto their 1ZZ bottom end if we're really wanting to cut costs here. I mean, I can't imagine it's anything more than maybe $1,000 to $2,000 at the absolute most here when we're talking about. I mean, you can clearly see they have all this CNC machinery and all this other, like, you know, metal lathes and whatnot. I don't really see a point in using a very minimal Toyota 1ZZ Corolla motor because, I don't know, maybe it's, you know, a little more badass in the context of this car because it's probably pretty lightweight compared to the Corolla. Probably doesn't have airbags. It probably doesn't have a lot of the modern safety amenities, and I don't know Afghanistan's. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Let's hear this, baby. Yep, that sounds like a bone stock 1ZZ with just an open downpipe, which, not knocking them, that's pretty fucking cool. Like, it's just like, I feel like if they really wanted to reach their full potential, maybe in the Mata 10 or whatever, right? You know, they'll have the new, you know, 2ZZ, or hell, make the jump to like a 3GR V6 or something like that, or a 4GR, you know. I mean, I'm pretty sure if they had the, I'm sure this company will, like, you know, they're getting headlines, they're getting publicity, they're getting money from this. Well, probably not like a fuck ton, but, like, you know, they're getting their name out there, and that's what matters. People are watching, you know, and I would love to see this car with, like, the 4GR Camry V6, because that thing is a fucking rocket. Looks like this, and this thing is I believe this is the 2.5. Oh, I'm thinking of the 2GR, my bad. Well, hell, even that one would be fine. The 2GR from like the Camrys and like the Toyota trucks, I'm pretty sure it could be pretty lightweight if you design it right, and I'm sure it would also fit because I'm pretty sure it's a rear-wheel drive car. It just goes right on the rear axles, and then you fucking mount it up, and it would work fine. My only, I guess you could say, gripe would be the weight. It would probably fuck the weight distribution, but you'd also have a much faster supercar. Now, if we're talking budget here, this would kind of fuck things up because these are not cheap, but I do know they are. Hang on, I'm going to fact check myself before I say something. Not mistaken, they did put the 2GR. Oh, yeah, okay, so they did. I remember now. They put them in the Lexuses. They're SUVs for the time, but I can't imagine those are super cheap, and I understand why they went with the 1ZZ, although I personally think that they should have dropped a little bit more money and invested into a 2ZZ 1.8. One other thing I completely forgot to touch on here, and I'll kind of go over this as I'm showing this video off in the background, is the simplicity of the Toyota 1Z. See, a lot of the times I'm sure you hear about, like, you know, BMWs, Ferraris, and Porsches all being really difficult to work on or non-user friendly, but Toyota has a massive aftermarket and they still produce the 1ZZ today. It's not as common in America per se. We've moved on to shit like the 1NZ and other Toyota motors, since most of Toyota's like consumer market here is a lot of SUVs and shit and trucks. But in places like, Afghanistan, 1ZZs and old Toyota 4As are everywhere, and nothing is nicer than having a motor that's just really simple and easy to work on. As you can see, there's not really a whole lot of moving parts to this thing. It's basically just a Toyota 4A with fuel injection and variable valve timing. That's it. And, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want a simple supercar, they designed it. Fuck it. You can buy it, you know what I mean? And I can't imagine that it would also probably keep production costs pretty low, considering I don't know how they're going to design it. I would like to think that they're going to build the car and then you send in your 1Z core, probably, because developing a whole new motor is just a bitch of a process. But, I mean, I don't know. If we're thinking of, like, the most reliable motors, I can instantly name off a few that have one thing in common. Things like the AMC 4.0, the Ford 300, the Toyota 4A, the, let's see. There's a couple more out there. I'm trying to think of like mainly just regular motors, but they all have one thing in common. They're all completely fucking simple mechanical. They have one job, and it's be reliable, start up every day. See, when you start like adding bolt-on parts, and this is probably something I guess I kind of missed, with the Toyota 2ZZ, which is just the 1ZZ but hopped up a little more. It's got like a more aggressive cam timing, and it's got, better camshafts and whatnot, you run into more issues because you're running higher compression. When you run higher compression, it requires that you have more higher octane fuel. And the nice thing about the 1ZZ, I think, is definitely the fact that you can just run like shit gas on it. I think it's like got like 9-to-1 compression, so it'll probably run on like 87 octane. But I mean, I don't know. I just felt like I needed to add this part to the video. So yeah, you guys have a good one.